Welcome to Fitting In and Sticking Out, a Year 3 class on Déviance. I, Alice Bonzon, will be your guide, your professor, your sensei.
Mommy, Daddy, look at me. I went to school and I got a degree.
Welcome. Welcome to Fitting In and Sticking Out. Rule making, rule following, and rule breaking. Freaks and geeks, weirdos and wackos. Misfits and nonconformists. Dissenters and protesters. The labels that are used to describe difference are sometimes loaded with moral judgment, with social judgment, or even with legal judgment. And these labels can turn into a form of social stigma. They can turn into something that leads to exclusion, undermining the identities of those that are seen as deviant. So this class, Fitting In and Sticking Out, intends to show that deviance is a socially constructed notion that has been used historically to foster social regulations. The lesson will explore the ways in which so-called normality, deviance, and difference have been built and defined throughout time. Some interpretations of deviance may appear shocking today, but others are still used nowadays. Understanding this can be helpful to build a professional approach that will help you be sensitive to diversity questions. The lessons will open with sociological notions, and then they'll discuss historical and more contemporary othering processes that can lead to conformity or that can lead to rebellion. The seminars will track throughout time attempts to define, to limit, to normalize, but also more recently to proudly celebrate difference and to embrace new communities, new lifestyles, from punk to witches to dark academia and other TikTok subcultures. It will mainly focus on Britain, but it will encourage discussions that have to do with the whole of the world. Those will be welcome. The lessons will include themes such as the interpretation of deviance. So we'll talk about sociological notions, we'll talk about witch hunts, and we'll discuss social panics as well. We'll talk about the making and the breaking of sexual rules and gender norms. We'll discuss crime and punishment. But we'll also talk about entertainment, from freak shows to TV reality. We'll talk about youth subcultures, from punks and teddy boys to cottagecore and other TikTok styles. We'll talk about fashion, looks, body image, as well as dissenters and protesters, student demonstrations, and civil disobedience in nowadays world. Eventually we'll discuss science, medicine and health, as well as addiction, and if we have time we'll also talk about the question of race.
Hey you, in the front row, are you coming backstage after the show?
This class will show you that being different is actually quite cool. Embrace your inner weirdness. But remember that you need to work hard as well, or else. You'll need to be working on a research paper, and you'll need to be working on a podcast as well in small teams, very short podcasts. You'll be given a booklet with lots of documents for you to work on, from photographs and graphs to paintings, cartoons, as well as other things, such as diaries and ads. There are 3 time slots for this class. The first one is 2 to 4 on Fridays, the second one is 4 to 6 on Fridays, and the last one is 6 to 8 on Fridays. Yes, 6 to 8, le créneau des braves, with always good mood, sometimes good food, and always good vibes.